Sometimes I take a look at myself in the mirror, and for a moment, I just don't recognize who's staring back. It feels like falling. And falling feels endless in a place like this. When I snap back to reality, I realize that it was all in my head.
Alright, so what you just saw, I made in CapCut. I made a previous video about this. You can go check it out on my channel, or I'll just link it up somewhere on the screen. Not sure how to do that on YouTube, so I'll figure it out. But yeah, I made that video in CapCut. Someone requested how I actually made this video. So I just wanted to make a video talking about the actual techniques that I use, because in the original video that I made on CapCut, I sort of didn't really touch on those things. I was sort of going over the fact that CapCut was a thing that people were talking about in a bad way, and it wasn't really something that people should be using for editing. So I just wanted to go over like how I actually accomplished these effects, right? So when I made this video originally, I made this concept on the fly. I knew I wanted to make something in CapCut, and I knew I needed it to be sort of different. It couldn't just be a collection of cinematic shots, because I mean, those are easy to make relatively. Like you can get some cinematic shots and edit them together on your phone in like iMovie. So I needed it to be something that was unique editing wise. So I decided I knew there was a few techniques I could use, so I thought about masking, and it was the evening time when I was recording this video. So what came to mind was Get Out movie, and when he's falling into like the dark void and he's like falling into darkness, I was like, that could be a doable effect. You know, I can just have a dark room. I can have myself faking a fall, and then, so I basically filmed myself doing that. I filmed myself, you know, fake falling on the floor, looking stupid as hell, just with my arms in the air, trying to balance myself. Not gonna lie, it was kind of a cool workout because I had to balance myself. And then I also recorded myself in the bathroom, sort of just looking in the mirror, because I needed an excuse to actually have myself floating in darkness. So I was like, I'll just make some story up about why this is happening. Planning on looking in the mirror and having some like ethereal effect, you know. When I sat down to look at this, the biggest thing I needed to focus on was the effects. So I thought I need to focus on masking, and I need to focus on any AI background removal effects. All right, so to get into the interface of CapCut, right? So this is the timeline down here. You can drag this window up to see more or less of the timeline, less of the window. This right here is the, like, it's just like normal editing programs, but if you're a beginner, this is the area on the side where you can keep your, you know, organization, your folders and your clips and all that stuff right here. Basically how you work with different things. So if I go into a clip, you can see details for clips on the side panel here. You can go to the video, the audio, the speed, you know, the animation, the tracking, adjustments, which is for color, and it has different, if anything has a purple symbol next to it, that means it's a pro effect, and you need CapCut Pro for this, which is kind of crazy because I think also when you export, you need Pro to not have a watermark. So that's kind of crazy. But so yeah, you can add a LUT right here. You can do all sorts of color correction here, like the basic curves right here, stuff like that. Under each tab, there's various other tabs that are, you know, sub tabs for various different things. So in audio, there's basic and there's a voice changer. My first step was to lay out everything on the timeline, right? I edited the whole thing together, and I did all of this without having any effects. So the first thing was I came to this shot with my hand in the air. Now, if we look at the original shot, let's see, if we go to the compound clip, I made a compound clip for this, which is important. I just wanted to organize everything better. So a compound clip just contains multiple clips in CapCut. As some other editing programs have this, most have this, but in CapCut, it just contains multiple clips. So I knew my timeline would be cleaner if I just had a compound clip of this whole effect. And then I could apply the color grade to all of it. So inside of here, I have the video of me. As you can see, it's in log. So it's gonna be flat color, you know, it's washed out. But you can see I'm sort of going into the darkness, and the mask around me is not the best, the background removal. So my first step was to remove the background. So let me go over all of the effects, and I'll go over this in a new CapCut project. Okay, so first thing I would do for an effect like this is I put this video on the timeline with me reaching my hand out. I find a perfect moment. Looks like this is good. Boom, 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 boom. And then I need to slow down this clip because I did record it in a higher frame rate. I think it was 120 FPS. So I put the speed down to at least half. So that's the first step. Putting the speed down to half, all right? So we have it slower right there, right? Now, there's multiple ways to remove the background. I can mask for something like this, which might be a little bit tedious, but nothing too crazy, or I can just remove the background. So what I can do, there's different ways to remove the background in CapCut. If there's auto removal, custom removal, and then chroma key. I don't think I need to really be doing chroma key because that will remove one color from this, and I didn't record this in front of a green wall. So auto removal, let's try that out. So you go on this, click auto removal, and then boom, we have a basic auto removal right here. As you can see, I'm in here and you can see a little bit of the couch behind me, so that sucks. I can also do custom removal, so if I don't want to do auto, I can do custom. And usually you can do a brush with this, right, and select something. Or you can do this smart brush, which will snap to things, but that is in the pro version. So I can select around my body. And then I can select around my body and I just hit Alt and then clicked again and dragged, and that will deselect everything. So if I don't want to have my face in this, I can hit Alt and select all around this and not include it. But I do want to have this, so I'm going to select around myself. And I don't need to include anything right there. I do need my hair though, and I do need my finger. So once that happens, it's processing this auto removal right here. It's processing that. So I can hit, once it's done processing, I can hit apply. And then we have a rough mask right here. It's messing up, so that's not good. And this is sort of the thing, is CapCut is not perfect. Like this is like, it's not the best thing. So we're just gonna use this auto removal right now. And then as you can see, there's something right here. I don't know if this is a part of the tripod or remote or something, but I think I had masked this out in the final one. So I think that's what I'm gonna do right here. Now I'm gonna add a mask on top of this. Add a mask, a custom, and I'm going to sort of mask around myself, feather it a lot. And then we have that. There's also some stuff on the couch, so I can mask that out. So if I animate this mask, transform, and then as it comes in, I can mask this out just like that. And I'm not doing the best job. I would obviously do this better if it was, you know, if I had more time to do this and I was doing it on my own. So that's basically the process that I go through. I have that right there. Now I will add some effects to this. Okay, so the next step that I basically did was, this does not look good at all. So I needed to add particles or something to make this more like I was floating in the void. So I have this basic clip that I got from Pexels, PEXELS.com, I believe. Picked apart and I don't know, just like something like that. And I put this over my footage. And I also put this under my footage. I hit Alt on a clip and drag it, and that duplicates it. That duplicates the clip. So I have this above and below. Now, this does not scream anything with a void. It looks like something floating in, I don't know, particles in water. So what I did was, the key to like adding stuff over footage, in my opinion, is to change the blend mode. So right here, this will change how it affects the footage below it, how it appears on it. So I can choose to brighten, and there's different modes. I can't explain each one of them, but I'm in like a volcano or something right here. But no, I just chose screen, I think. Oh, I think I took the color out of this. So I go to the top to adjustment right here, and I took out the saturation. Oh, and this too. Well, why is it still orange? Let's just go out of this HSL. Let's go out of that. I messed up. So first thing I did, I think, is I think I adjusted it right here. the saturation. And then I adjusted this saturation right here as well. And now I think I turned the opacity down on this as well. So if you go to video and you change the opacity, change that to maybe 22, and then I changed this opacity down. And I think I slowed these clips down because it probably looks like the particles are moving pretty fast. So they need to be able to match the slow motion of the clip. So what I did was, I guess I just changed this to maybe 0.5. And even if the frame rate isn't the same, it doesn't really matter too much for particles. But I mean, if you really want to be detailed, you need to make sure you have a clip that's higher frame rate. But this clip, it looks like it's 25 frames, so it's not going to be slow motion really. So I have that right now. Now, the thing is, I need to put these into a compound clip. So I right click, I select all of these, dragging and selecting. And then I hit right click and hit create compound clip. So boom, I have that compound clip now. Now I can put a color grade over this. So if I go to my adjustments at the top right over here, and I go to LUT, I have a LUT over here, and I have these LUTs. These are phantom LUTs. That's the name of the LUT. So I just drag that on top, move this to the whole length of the clip, and then boom, we have me floating in darkness. Oh, I forgot one thing also. When I'm inside of this compound clip, I needed these to be like believable. So one of these particles are all the same size. So I scaled up some of these to make it seem like they're closer to the camera. And that just makes it seem like it's more of a, and then this below layer is below me. So there's particles above and below me. So it's, you know, more depth to this. So then I have this right there. Now I just need to animate this. So if I go to the start of this clip and drag this to the beginning, and then click on this thing right here. So when you click on these points, this means to animate something. So then I click this. And I need to animate the rotation and scale. So I start right here, and then by the time I get close to, right here, because that's where the actual clip ends, I need to be back some and rotated some. There we go. So now let's watch this without having to. And there's the effect with me floating. Now, if I were actually doing this myself, I would touch up the mask, because when my body appears, it's sort of a hard line right here, if you can see it on the display. So if I put this full screen, it's a hard line right here, and that's not good. So I think what I did was I actually animated a mask to sort of rise up and sort of cover me slowly. So you can do that as well. So now I will go over the other shot, me floating in the air, and that one's pretty self-explanatory. I just had something like I chose a portion of the clip like that. I took that clip and I did the same thing that I did for the other clip. So I hit remove background, or I masked it. And I think for this one, the remove background did not work well, so I just ended up masking it. So it's processing. And as you can see, this is not very good because it's removing my hair. If I really wanted to do this better on location, then I would have probably had like more of a solid background so that it can distinguish me from a wall or a green screen or something like that. But then the lighting wouldn't have been the same. So it needed to be darker. And I did have a light above me in this to light me sort of as if there was a light coming down on me. So I had that shot, and I'm not going to do that right now because it was very tedious to do. So yeah, I would just create the mask and do the same thing with this one, just animating it frame by frame. So, you know, I create the mask, make it a pen tool. You know, I would draw it around my body. And then I animated it. You know, I hit this mask setting that animates everything in the mask. And then I just went through frame by, like not really frame by frame, but I would go through every few frames and animate it, and it wasn't even that good of an animation. So if I really wanted to do it, I could have did it better. And this was 120 frames a second, and even though it was slowed down, it was a shorter portion, it would have been so tedious for just a second of video. So that's what I did for that. And then I did the same thing that I did with this compound clip, added some particles and put it in the timeline. All right, so when I was ready to export everything, I would just go to export, and it basically gives me a bunch of options. So obviously it tells me that I have 3 items that are using pro effects, so I can export it if I have that, and whatever. So I need to choose a frame rate for this, so I would choose 24 frames. I have this be 4K. If you don't have a watermark, that's interesting. You have to have the pro to not have a watermark. Nice, CapCut, nice. I made the I think I just did recommended for everything. And usually when you export, it actually has an option to do like to have it match for like vertical video. I don't know why it doesn't have that. And I hit export, and I can export it wherever I want, and then that's how I made the video. So thank you for watching this video. I don't mind making tutorials, and if someone asks for one, then I'll make one on how I created a specific thing. I just wanted this video to be like a symbol, a testament that CapCut can be useful for editors, especially if you're just starting out. And what it really is a stepping stone to get you into video editing, and you can eventually branch off from there and move to something else for like DaVinci Resolve, or even you can buy DaVinci Resolve, or you can buy Adobe. You know, it's a stepping stone. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked this video, comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, because yeah, sometimes it takes me a while to think of ideas for videos. For sure, if you have any more video ideas, drop them down below. I appreciate the support.